White. Wide open, Torrence! Oh, baby! Touchdown! How do you leave the best receiver in the NAIA that wide open?
You show, and that's what we do! Cat!
You're proud of me?
And it's caught! Oh my goodness! Troy Torrence comes down with it!
Welcome all to Bankroll Blitz right here on Pub Sports Radio. It is our divisional round preview, and I hate to say it, but after tonight, there are only 3 games left to cap this NFL season. So let's dig in, do the best possible job that we can do, and enjoy every second of it. That's the most important thing for us, because we're running out of games. I'm joined alongside, as always, by my co-host, Troy Torrence. Troy, I took a bath in the wild card week. You did not. Your record doesn't tell the story of how much money you made, because you hammered some of these spots, like the Chicago Bears, a game you watched live, which may go down as one of the greatest sporting experiences that you will ever have. Troy Torrence, how are you, my friend?
I'm ready to get to work. I finally put together a winning week after, since week 16, we've been downtrending. I've been downtrending. So, we put a plug in it. We stopped the bleeding. I hate that term, but I really feel confident about these games that we had this week. So
I am excited to attack them. Let's talk about the week that was. I got it started by losing unders in Green Bay, Chicago. First half full game. I pushed San Francisco first half, and I cashed on the full game under. But I lost the Eagles double result. I lost the Eagles-Rams moneyline parlay. So at that point, I did not have the Jaguars. I did not have the Packers. And here I am in the hole, heavy. And the Eagles were the culprit. Chargers +4 was bad. Justin Herbert's statistical day was horrible. He was absolutely putrid. He was terrible. Let alone his statistical profile. 3.4 seconds to let the ball out. The third highest of his entire career.
Who was that, Jimmy?
Justin Herbert. He didn't trust his receivers. He didn't trust his offensive line. He didn't trust himself. It's a pretty scary thing to move forward with Herbert at quarterback after that performance, honestly. But they'll give him.
Yeah, because when he had time to throw, he wouldn't release the football. He wanted to. I mean, at one point it was clear that he wanted to run the football. He's very uncomfortable that game. It just looked completely different from what we've seen, and he tends to do that.
Then I lost the first half over 19.5 and the full game over 39.5 in Houston, Pittsburgh. A game I really had confidence in that it was going to go over. So very, very ugly week for me. 1-7, down 7.06 units. I have the Bills futures. Well, just the one to win the Super Bowl. I was afraid of the Jaguars. I have took the Bills and the Bears. I cleaned up in my pools except for the Eagles, but I lost my shirt. It was very tough.
I wonder how I'm doing in the pool for Pub Sports Radio.
Well, we're done because we had the Eagles at 12. Yeah. So and you also had the Chargers at 4.
But I felt like a lot of people would have had those Eagles.
I don't think you can lose 12 points and win the confidence pool, even with parity. I think you.
So you hit basically if you hit 10 through, you hit all your big bets except for one of them, right? That's it. I don't know. That's the tournament structure that I'm not familiar with. I feel like I always talk to Jimmy about that. I talk shit about my ability to do tournaments and big pools. And you saw me go from 1st to 8th, right outside, right on the bubble this year in the Cappers contest.
Well, no, you got there. Didn't you? Oh no, you're right. You got 8th. God, I came 9th. Look, you know what? Let's focus on making money right here, right now with this card. Talk to us about the week that was for you, and give us a little idea about how incredible that experience was at Soldier Field.
I guess I'll just plug it in with my action. Rams -10, Rams and Panthers under 46. But obviously started off the day with 2 losers. And luckily the Rams got it done. I had them in a money line parlay with the Eagles, and the Eagles failed me. But I had the Bears, and being part of the hype, being at the field, you get a little bit, you're a little naive. I started moving probably a little bit too much, and thank God they came through. And it just seems like the teams that are from the city that I'm from, and I got my Cubs, they just got Bregman. They're looking phenomenal. I'm a true fan of the Chicago Cubs. The Bears, I'm coming around. Our quarterback wears nail polish, but it took a while to get me there. I've been talking about this team, the offensive line, Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and how he has the highest ceiling in the NFL. Getting to watch that live and just being able to, feel that energy was just amazing.
The play on 4th down
that's probably go down. Best throw of the season, I believe.
Yeah. It'll go down in history. It'll go down in history as one of the greatest, playoff throws in NFL history.
Especially if they can make a run of this, make a run after that throw, which you always think the Bears are going to let down. And somehow, Caleb, the cardiac Bears stay true to their name. I also had the under in that game, which went up to Flames late. I had the Bills money line. I had the Bills +2. I had the Bills Eagles. The Eagles are going to be a common theme, because if the Eagles would have came out with the win, I would have had a monster week. Too bad the Eagles lost. I had the Eagles -4. Had the money line parlays with the Rams, with the Texans, with other spots that I cross parlay with the NCAA football playoffs. Yeah, the Eagles failed me. The 49ers team total under 20.5. That reverse, that jet sweep reverse touchdown pass to CMC, that's just what Shanahan had it up his sleeve. As soon as that 4th quarter, the turn of the quarter, they come out. What a Shanahan, man.
Well, now they don't have it for the Seahawks.
I don't know. I was really trying to get to the Seahawks. I'm just thinking Shanahan.
They don't have that play. We saw that play in their last Super Bowl.
But what has he got? He's got more. He's got to have more, right?
We'll see.
I mean, they're running on fumes. I mean, he's getting all the snaps, all the touches. You can only last so long with that type of environment. Trust me, Jimmy, I'm leaning with you there. Chargers +4, +3.5. Lost with both of those, but I absolutely I hammered this under after coming live on Sunday night. I was like, if I could do it all over again, I would have loaded up on the under and kind of left more action off the Chargers. I had 2 units on the Patriots team total under. I had the first half full game. First half was a late edition. Added the Chargers 3.5 to balance it out. So yeah, I split there pretty much. Then I loaded up on the Texans, continue fading this the Steelers, and I had a good read on that game, and I cashed.
You had a great read on the Steelers all year.
Yeah. So altogether, I don't even know. I had a pretty good week, but I think for the show purpose, I had plus 2.30 units this week. So some along those lines.
Well, excellent work, Troy, back in business. Shout out to all the cappers joining us here for our divisional round. I know we're not just going to sit around and talk. We're going to cap, but after tonight, there's only 3 games left of the NFL season. Mike, Susie Easton, the Dab Father. We're going to be down at Pubapalooza very soon to hang out with the Dab Father. Man, we're pumped up about Pubapalooza 5. I booked my flights today. So we're going to hang out with the Dab Father down there. We got Saturated. He had a huge score with the Texans taking care of business. Huge score for Saturated. Love to see it. We got Swish, Brett Sturgeon, TJ. Great to see all of you guys. Spenny, Penny Bombs, Noop, AM. We got the Bears in the house. Curtis Barry, ready to get to work. Great to see all of you guys. Luke Burrow, Frank, Virginia, LALV. By the way, Luke Burrow, if you could email pupsportsradio@gmail.com, they need your PayPal to finish off. We're almost done paying everybody, but you have not been paid, sir. So if you could please email pupsportsradio@gmail.com. Ron Young, Hino Ball, Frank, Virginia. Great to see all of you guys. Troy Torrence, let's get to work here. We begin at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday, January 17th. The AFC Divisional Playoffs. Buffalo Bills 12-5, 5-3 on the road. And the Denver Broncos 14-3, 8-1 at home. We're Empower Field at Mile High, Denver, Colorado. I have done a second weather report. The weather report yesterday has changed quite a bit. So it's a little cooler than we thought. There's slightly more wind. 44 Fahrenheit, sunny, 7-mile-per-hour winds. It doesn't change anything. 51 Fahrenheit, 3-mile-per-hour winds. No difference. 44 sunny, 7-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here for game one on the board. We have a total at 46. This opened up at 47. It dropped down to 46 on Monday. Oh, sorry, it dropped down to 46.5 on Monday. It dropped down to 46 on Tuesday. So we have a 1-point move towards the under here in the total. On the point spread, the Bills have gone from favorite to dog. They opened up -1.5. It was juiced to them as well. Now they are +1. Maybe get a better idea if we look at the money line, even though the money line would have come out later. The money line opened up at -123, now -105. So the Broncos are now the favorite. Taking a look at the odds logic board, we have 51%. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. We have 53% of the tickets and 60% of cash on the Denver Broncos. 60% of tickets on the under and 72% of cash on the under. AM's projection is the Broncos -2.5 in this total at 48. He no ball says Bills, Bills, Bills. I'll be patient. Looks exactly like the Jaguars game. Shout out to Robert Cherry joining us. Let's start with the Bills breakdown. Passing offense ranked 4th, rushing offense 1st. Even though it got bottled up by the Jaguars. They did a nice job of it. Obviously, that's a crucial part of this cap. Red zone offense ranked 2nd. Score touchdown 67.7% of the time. Third down offense ranked 3rd. They convert 45.1% of the time. Pass defense ranked 15th. Rush defense ranked 27th. Red zone defense ranked 22nd. They allow touchdowns 60.8% of the time. Their third down defense is ranked 24th. They allow conversions 42% of the time. It's the 7th ranked pass rush and the 8th ranked special teams. The Bills come in off an impressive 27-24 victory at Jacksonville in the wildcard round. It was their first playoff road victory since defeating the Dolphins in the 1992 AFC Championship game, a game I remember quite well. This was a tough win, and this one is going to be even tougher. And it's not because of the opposition. I think beating Jacksonville is more difficult than beating Denver, beating the Broncos a mile high. Now, that's arguable. I get it. It's arguable. But now we're traveling 2 time zones on a short week against the number 1 seed playing their first home playoff game in a decade. It's very difficult. The noise-canceled score was 27-19 Bills, though. They beat the Jags. Josh Allen was 28 for 35 for 273 yards, touchdown, interception. He also ran 11 times for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns. He took a beating, but he was sacked just once, and he didn't turn the ball over. Khalil Shakir caught 12 passes for 82 yards. Brandon Cooks caught 3 for 58. While 9 receivers caught balls from Allen, the receiving group took another major hit. Gabe Davis tore a ligament in his knee, is being placed on IR. Then it was reported on Monday that Tyrell Shavers tore a knee ligament during a special teams play in the first half. Shout out to Shavers because he played through it, and he caught a 14-yard pass later. But he's out for this one. The injuries leave Buffalo with just 3 receivers on the active roster. Now, that will change because on the practice squad, they got McCole Hardman and Steven Gosnell. They also signed Christian Wilkerson. They've gone through a ton of injuries. Joshua Palmer, Curtis Samuel, but Curtis Samuel's 21-day practice window was open, and he was at practice today. So we expect Curtis Samuel to be in. Also, and I've been saying this for how long, Troy? 8 weeks, 9 weeks, they opened up Ed Oliver's practice window. When I understood that Ed Oliver was coming back for the playoffs, now he had the setback with the pectoral injury. That's when I moved on futures with Buffalo. That's when I had faith. Now, I picked the worst possible time to buy in on the Bills, and I only bet them to win the Super Bowl, and I got a bad line. I got plus 750. I mean, if you could have got 10-1 before the first game of the playoffs. So I didn't wait. I didn't handle that perfectly. Now, they have not confirmed that Ed Oliver and Curtis Samuel will be in the lineup, but we expect them both to be in the lineup. Let's talk about Cook. He ran 15 times for 46 yards, and the Jaguars were able to hold him back, league-leading rusher. The Broncos' 5th-ranked run defense will attempt to do the same. Shaq Thompson and Cole Bishop had interceptions. The offense did just enough. And Josh Allen's pretty good at that. doing just enough. They averaged 5.5 yards per play. They went 9 of 16 on 3rd and 4th down. We're a perfect 3 for 3 in the red zone. Like the offense, the defense did just enough. They bent but didn't break. Pass rush had 1 sack and 3 quarterback hits. The Bills leaned heavily on rookie defensive tackle Deion Walker. He played 73% of the snaps, alongside veteran Daquan Jones, who played 70%. Is that a solid 1-2 combination? They held their own. But Ed Oliver needs to be in there, even if Ed Oliver plays 70% of the snaps. This defense allowed 6.6 yards per play. They allowed the Jaguars to go 5 of 9 on 3rd down, 3 of 4 in the red zone. And this team is banged up. Jordan Poyer, he's not going to be playing. He hurt his hamstring on Sunday. He'd missed the last 2 games of the regular season and tried to come back. So it's Jordan Hancock. Of course, we have Cole Bishop back there. But Jordan Hancock is going to have to do a lot. Now, veteran safety DeMar Hamlin, he returned to practice last week. Will he be in there? It's interesting to think of this Bills secondary. We have their, their coverage ranking. It's 15th. It's 15th, according to Pro Football Focus. But this secondary allowed the fewest passing yards per game in the entire league. Maxwell Hairston did not practice again today. I don't think he plays. And again, if the Bills lose any of these games with Maxwell Hairston not in the lineup, I will drive to Buffalo. I will buy a ski mask. I will wait for Sean McDermott. And I will Nancy Kerrigan in the right kneecap. If you read a news story about somebody taking a pole to McDermott's kneecap, just nod your head. You'll know who did it. Ty Johnson, also now with injuries mounting, could be useful here. The question after the game, and we don't need to get into this question, is why the hell didn't Cohen run the ball more against this weak run defense? Etienne and Tootin combined for 118 yards on just 14 carries. What was Cohen thinking? What was he thinking? Let's talk about these Denver Broncos and then hand it over to Troy Torrence. Passing offense ranked 12th, rushing offense ranked 19th, red zone offense ranked 12th. They score touchdowns 57.9% of the time. 3rd down offense ranked 11th. They convert 41.2% of the time. Not a top 10 stat in there. Their pass defense ranked 7th. Rush defense ranked 5th. Red zone defense ranked 1st. They only allowed touchdowns 42.6% of the time. 3rd down defense ranked 2nd. They only allowed conversions 33.8% of the time. Pass rush ranked 10th. Special teams ranked 20th. Last year, these teams met in the wildcard round in Buffalo, and the Bills took the Broncos to the woodshed. And the Bills rushed for 210 yards, 120 by James Cook. So what did Denver do? They went out, they signed Dre Greenlaw and safety Talanoa Hufanga. Inside linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who pulled his right hamstring in a game against the Jaguars on December 21st, is back for this one. That's a big deal. This year, they face each other at Mile High. Let's talk about the Broncos' running attack. J.K. Dobbins been out since Week 11 with a foot injury. Prior to that season-ending injury, Denver was 14th in rush EPA, 17th in success rate, while averaging 128.6 rush yards per game and 4.8 yards per carry. From weeks 11 through 18, the 126.8 yards goes down to 104.6. The 4.8 yards per carry goes down to 3.9. They ranked 22nd in rush EPA. Remember, they were 14th with Dobbins. In the last game versus the Bills, in the Bills-Broncos game, who led the Broncos in rushing? Bo Nix, 43 rushing yards. He had the longest carry that day of 18 yards. I expect the same thing to happen here. I expect the Broncos and RJ Harvey to struggle moving the ball on the ground and Bo Nix to break a few off. He finished the year with 3,931 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The question is, was he that good? Can he take the next step in his career and lead the Broncos to a victory? Safety Brandon Jones will be out for this divisional round game. He's been out since week 15. He left the Packers game. He's been placed on IR. Now, he could come back if the Broncos win. He's required to miss one more game before he can return to action. This Denver Broncos team allows just 17.8 points per game at home. Their only home loss was to a Jaguars team that the Bills just beat on the road. Broncos allowed the fewest yards per game in the NFL, 278.2. They play man coverage at the second highest rate in the NFL. I'm sure this is something that Troy Torrence is going to touch on, our X's and O's expert, because Brandon Cooks and Khalil Shakir have either been bad or barely adequate versus man coverage this season. With all of those stats being said, I find it tricky to bet unders in Bills games. The market is telling us that this game will go under. I want the Bills. Lines moving against me. It didn't hurt you, Troy, in the wild card round, taking on the sides where the line was moving against you, having confidence in those sides. Do I even need to do it here? It's not a huge payout, $500 at plus 750. It's not like I'm sitting here with this huge payout, but I also don't want to compound losses. Yes, I want to bet the Bills. And I'm not sure what to do with the total. Troy Torrence, take it away. AFC Divisional Playoffs, Empower Field, Mile High, hosting Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos.
As you're handicapping the game, Jimmy, I'm adding notes. I'm trying to, make responses to certain points you made, and there's just so much to unpack. I love playoff football. You really get to pull out the magnifying glass and get under the hood. So the first thing, so let me ask you, Jimmy, and this is me being like authentic here with this question. What would this spread be if it was like, I don't know. I look at this, I'm trying to talk about the spread in a way that makes sense or try to, create a narrative out of it. So if it was truly a bad spot for the Buffalo Bills, right? Situationally, short week, Josh Allen's beat up. They're going on the road to Mile High, team with extended rest, great at home. Why would this line be open as the Bills' favorite?
Because they're a better football team than the Denver Broncos. And why are they a better football team? Because of one man.
Because of one man. That's how much one man could really do. Now, the sentiment, from what I could see, I see a lot of action coming in on this Broncos team. Now I'm looking at Action Network a little bit different, but I think public and sharps alike are going to look at this number. And I have my gauges that I use, and some people from my family, some people from my old football teams, they want to back Denver. I look at that and I love that because we've seen what happens when the Bills are in the playoffs and the line flips from them being favorites to dogs. They're 2-0, beating the Jags in the wild card game and beating the Ravens last year in the conference champion or in the divisional round, same exact round. The dog actually since 2022, when we see a line flipping, the dog is 4-0 straight up in ATS since 2022. And I look at this line, especially the open, and I see strength. I see the bookies are on the Bills to me when I see this line because there's a lot of models out there. I don't build bottoms up for this reason. I would pull up a model and I would say the Broncos are going to be able to run the football and have their way on this defense. But I'm going to make a case right now that that's not going to be the case. Make a case that it's not going to be the case. So I thought what the Bills did was impressive. The noise cancel score is 27-19. The Bills rush EPA versus their average was plus 0.16. Now it's looking at versus the average because I get in the playoffs and I want to look at something, I don't know, different than the top level data because we're talking about a season long. We're not talking about the best for the best with the most on the line and everybody playing to the fullest extent, playing hurt and just, giving their maximum effort. The Jags, they were only, in terms of rush EPA offensively, we're basically flat to their average. That shocked me. And I was like, okay, what happened in that game? They had 7 runs for 10 or more yards. And on paper, that looks like, wow, look at their yards per carry. Look what the yards per carry the Patriots did on them. But what happened in that game? That was 2 explosive runs. That really just, basically created the rush yards per carry were outliers at that point. But they also had 7 runs for 10 plus yards, but they also had 4 rushes for minus yards, basically tackle for losses. And 3 of those drives resulted in a punt. The only one that didn't was because of a flag that got extended. And the Jags stopped running the ball. Like you look at the numbers, you're like, why weren't they just hammering the rock every single time, every single, possession that they had it? Well, here's why. They come out in the first quarter, the first drive, the Jaguars came out, they ran the ball in the very first play. They're like, okay, we're going to pound the rock. They turn around and hand it off and lose 3 yards. 3 and out, a punt. The second drive, they run the ball for 3 yards. It was more like 2.5 yards. And that drive resulted in interception. But basically, those are 2 minus runs on first down. That's putting them behind the sticks. And I think that says a lot about what this Bills pass defense did. But also on the third drive, right? So they started out first down run. Both those drives ended in disaster. The third drive, they come out, they pass it for 9. They pass it for 6. Then they run it for 14, and then run it for 13. So they pass to open up the run. Because I don't think I don't know what it is, like, because earlier in the season, I would look at this Bills defense and I would be like, they're getting blown off the line of scrimmage every single down. There's massive amounts of room, like the Texans. Like the Texans ran the ball on the Steelers. That was the type of offensive line play that I see from the Bills for most of the season. And that really hasn't been the case on down-to-down football. They're actually been much better than I've expected. And the Broncos are coming off extended rest. I get that. It favors them in this situation. But the two data points we could point to and see them coming off a rest or see them coming, first game of the season and their week 13 bye, what do? They barely beat Cam Ward and the Titans. And then off their bye, they barely beat the Commanders on prime time. And, at that point, they're fighting for the division. Now they got the win, but it was definitely underwhelming. Definitely was not impressive. The defense was a shell of what we'd expect from this team. And I look at the Broncos and I'm like, did this team finish the season strong or in good form? And I did not see any of that. I mean, they played the Chargers and the Chiefs, who had nothing to play for. They were double-digit favorites. They averaged less than 4.5 yards per play in both games. The offense looked stale. The defense looked good, but who was it up against? The second string for their opponents. The Jaguars smoked them. They beat a Packers team, but they were down 9 points when Parsons and Tom went down and were out of the game. I just look at what they've done, and I've been shitting on this Broncos team's resume pretty much all season long. And if you look before that, you keep going back, right? The Commanders, the Raiders in Mile High barely escaped with the win, barely beat Kansas City. The Texans, Stroud goes down. Stroud was up 8 points in Houston. They pulled one out of their ass. They need a miracle to beat the Giants and to beat the Jets. The only two quality wins they got, you could poke holes in because you had Jake Browning and the Bengals, and you had the Cowboys coming off a primetime win. When the Cowboys aren't a playoff team, that's not a legit team, a team that lets the Chargers march up and down the field for 34 points after what we just seen from the Chargers. I mean, they faced two good offenses the entire season, the Colts and the Packers, who both scored over 24 points. They've only played three teams who have an offensive or run block in the top 10. That was the Colts, 25 carries, 165 yards. The Cowboys, 27 carries, 101 yards, like 3.8 yards per carry. Jonathan Taylor ran for 6.6 yards per carry. Barkley ran for 5 yards per carry. The Packers, who don't have that good of a run block, he ran for 20 carries for 115 yards. And the only run offense that resembles this Bills rushing offense is the Colts. It's the Bills and the Colts. That's really the only two corollary points. And I understand the Broncos pass defense is the strong suit. They're going to play man coverage. There should not be a lot of separation between these receivers. But, I mean, I believe Josh Allen is going to be able to create room, extend plays. Guys are going to be able to get open down the field. I believe Shakir is still a great receiving option. I believe both these tight ends can create separation in the passing game. Josh Allen posted great numbers versus all the quality teams he played, some great defenses that he played. There were two exceptions, and that was Philly in a throwaway game because of the weather, and it was Houston, who's on a different level than every other defense pretty much, I believe. And I get it. Like the Bills, they're going to give up some explosive running plays. They're going to give up some explosive passing plays. But you look at the pass defense, I feel like there's some things there that – you just look at the Bills defense in general. There's some things that I like in this matchup. I believe they're going to be able to create some tackles for losses, some stops in the run game that's going to force them into passing situations. That's the Bills' strong suit. The Bills do a good job rolling their coverages. We're seeing it later in the season. We weren't seeing it. They're rolling their coverages, which I think is going to be hard. Two high safeties against Bo Nix. And the only other team with a like-kind defense, because the Bills really have shifted toward the two-high scheme later on in the season. It's just like the Chargers, I guess, would be the most similar coverage packages that the Bills use. And the Chargers had a lot of success against Bo Nix. And how has Bo Nix done against teams with a good pass rush? Top 10 pass rush, the Bills are 7th. The Texans, I mean, he was not good. 4.7 yards per attempt, 68% passer rating. The Eagles, he was not good. The Giants, he was not good. I don't think Bo is really in a good matchup, personally. So if they can create some negative plays in the run game, I feel like they'll be able to, create some problems for Bo Nix. I'm on the Bills, Jimmy. I'm on the Bills. I got to trust Josh Allen. They're going to find more success, I feel like, consistently on offense. And I feel like they have an easier path on defense, too, to be honest, to find success. I got Bills first half money line, -105. Bills money line full game. And I got the Bills +1.
Yeah, all of those spots make a lot of sense here. Let me just, for record-keeping purposes, get these again. Bills' first half was what?
Bills first half money line -105. Bills full game money line.
And what's that number?
-108.
-108.
And then I got 110 on the one.
And plus one, -110. Yeah, I was very nervous about the Jaguars game, and not only did I not make any money, but it cost me. I did not take the Bills to win the AFC, and I'll have to deal with those consequences. I still have the plus 750 for the Super Bowl, but I would like to get involved in this football game.
Because it seemed like throughout your handicap, Jimmy, it seemed like you were kind of leaning the other way
on the Jags.
Yeah,
I was nervous. I was very nervous. The Jaguars looked very good down the stretch, something a lot of these teams haven't. I mean, who other than the Jaguars and Texans looked really good down the stretch? Seahawks, of course, but I mean, there's lots of teams in this breakdown today that didn't look good. I want the Bills. I want the Bills. I'd like to close with this question here, and I think there could be some truth to it. He says, this from TJ says, do we think this line comes back to the Bills Friday, Saturday? He believes they will.
Spot on.
He says, I believe if you like the Bills, get in today or tomorrow, as big bets will come in. I see some manipulation here. Look, I think he's right. There's something about experience that you just can't measure all the time. And, look at the stats we were going up against last week. We'll start with the Bears hadn't beat the Packers in the playoffs since the Sunday before or after Pearl Harbor, right around then. Oh, the Steelers hadn't lost a game on a Monday night in 23 years. I mean, there were stats.
The Texans haven't won a game on the road in their entire team history.
And we're going to be dealing that with the divisional round now with the Texans, who've never won a game in the divisional round. But
the quarterbacks with no playoff experience, Caleb Williams, and all of them covered the spread because Bryce Young covered the spread. Caleb Williams covered the spread, and so did Drake May.
And Blitz Every Down says, did we forget what Josh Allen did against the Texans? Couldn't even lift his arm to throw a pass before. Will Anderson was breathing down his neck. Broncos defense has some similarities.
No, they don't.
They have some similarities. That's fair.
The pass defense creates the ability to blitz and create pressure. It's not a 4-man pass rush like the Texans. That's why I would say it's not similar. But statistically, like numerically, you would see some similarities. What are they? The one of the best sack teams in the history.
Rant says the AFC is so bad this year. Sorry, Steelers even got in the playoffs. This is the year the Bills have to continue their rich history of losing in the Super Bowl. It's the way I see it. Dougie White says Texans have no equal on defense this year. At this point, he's right. Even though statistically they tell us the Rams are slightly better over the last 5 weeks, and we'll go into all those stats. They haven't been.
I mean, El Shayer, he's one guy. See, people shit on the PFF grades, and there's reasons to shit on them. Trust me. But there are some things you can find, some gems you could find with the PFF grades alone. You don't rely solely on those, but El Shayer, man, they don't do him justice. That dude,
he's a beast.
Oh my God.
They're just violent.
When Toa fell though on that little swing pass to Gainwell, I almost broke my fucking TV. I almost broke it.
Well, you got the last laugh.
I did.
So we have Troy tripling up on the Bills, and I'm going to risk compounding losses, and I'm going to move on the Bills. I just see it being their year, and we talk about experience and how that helps, and I believe that Josh Allen's been there and done that, and he's got a calm about him, like Matt Stafford.
Also here, Jimmy, people talking about Josh Allen like he's injured, and I totally understand why he got beat up that game. He was holding his hand at one point. He was his neck, I believe, like he had some things going on, and
his
then
knee. I remember his knee went backwards.
His knee, yeah. I was frustrated with it, and then all I did was watch him go out there and throw a dot to close the game, a deep ball right on the money.
Oh, he was an absolute monster. An absolute monster. It is time for us to roll on. We have a triple up for Troy. The total at 46.
And
Did it pique your interest at all?
I did. I want the under because if the script is for the Buffalo Bills, that means they're going to be playing with the lead, which means they're going to be pounding the rock. So I really like the under, and I was really considering it in this game. I was trying to, I have interest. And I think for either script, I could see the path for the under. For the Broncos to win the game, they're going to be suppressing Josh Allen and the whole offense as in its entirety. I don't think it's a game of back and forth football here. We'd be seeing a total above 47.
Well, I agree. LALV trifecta undering in this one. I don't know if I move on the total just because I want to keep it real clean here. We have Johnny Gunn saying, did you guys talk about the rest factor? I think it hurts more than it helps. If this wasn't a short week, I mean, sure, you want to be on that edge. You want that intensity edge, but I would much rather have the Bills rested, Hairston healthy, the number 1 seed, and Denver coming to Buffalo. But I can handle this. I can handle this because Josh Allen can handle this. I hear what you guys are saying, and I also think that the Bills may become public. I also think big bets are going to come in on the Buffalo Bills here. We'll see. Market has moved towards Denver. I think TJ's right. I think the time to move on this is tonight. I think he's right. Let's roll on. That is our first divisional round game. We go into number 2, 8 p.m. Eastern, NFC Divisional Playoffs. San Francisco 49ers 12-5, 7-2 on the road. Seattle Seahawks 14-3, 6-2 home at Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. We've already heard from AM who says this is the best over on the board. 47 Fahrenheit clear, 4-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here. Move back to the spread. We have the Seahawks right now -7.5, -102. In the last 36 hours, there's been about a 10 or 11 cent move towards San Francisco 49ers. And it's because Fred Warner talking about playing. Again, we don't know if he can, but he's certainly talking about playing. How many snaps is he going to be able to handle? How, all that is.
Wait, Fred Warner's playing in this game?
He says he can play. We don't know if he will play.
It would be foolish. I mean, how old is he? Is he an old man yet? I mean,
no, he's not an old man, and it wouldn't be foolish.
You don't think so?
No. It's an ankle injury. Come on. I mean, if he says he's good to go, he's good to go. I mean, no, you want to put on your cape. I mean, do people say Willis Reed shouldn't have hobbled out there and inspired the New York Knicks? Look, it's about inspiring the warriors that you go to battle with. So I don't think it's a mistake. If he says he can go. Get out there and show everybody you're the best linebacker in the NFL. Let's talk about the spot. We've touched on the spread. This total is at 45. Opened up 45.5, dropped to 45. It's juiced to the under. Let's get into the cash flow. Now we have 50% of tickets, 54% of cash on the Seattle Seahawks. I see a lot of 7s on the board. It's 7.5 at circa. 68% of tickets on the under and 89% of cash on the under. Why wouldn't there be all that money on the under? We've seen these teams play twice. Combined, we've seen 46 points combined in those two games. Now, is there an opportunity for more points to be scored in this one? AM certainly believes there will be. Let's talk about the 49ers. Passing offense ranked 5th. Rushing offense 29th. Red zone offense 4th. They scored touchdown 65.2% time. This has been the number 1 third down offense in football for a while. They convert 50% of the time. Their pass defense ranked 23rd. Their rush defense is 2nd worst in the NFL. Their red zone defense ranked 13th. Third down defense ranked 14th. They're okay there. Pass rush 28th. Special teams is 2nd. 49ers Seahawks round 3. Clay Kubiak going up against his older brother, Clint Kubiak, both offensive coordinators, round 3. This has all the makings of everything we love about football, especially if Warner comes back. 49ers won 17-13 Seattle in the season opener. Seahawks returned the favor with 13-3 win the season finale. In that last matchup, the Seahawks defense limited the 49ers to just 9 first downs and 173 total yards. The Seahawks ran the ball 39 times and held on to the ball for 38 minutes. The 49ers have only scored 20 total points in 2 games against the Seahawks' ferocious defense. If this line holds, the 49ers are 7.5-point dogs. It would mark the biggest underdog that San Francisco has been in the postseason in over 40 years. This is going to be tough. 49ers are coming off a bruising win in Philly. They have to fly back across the country for a Saturday night game. The travel is difficult. Only a couple days to recover. 49ers coming off very impressive 23-19 victory at Philadelphia. Noise cancel score was 23-22 Eagles. Purdy was 18-31 for 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and Demarcus Robinson stepped up. Surprise, surprise. 6 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. CMC Music Factory ran 15 times for 48 yards, and he caught 6 for 66 and 2 touchdowns. The offense put up 6.2 yards per play on the road against the tough Philly defense. Fortunately, they lose George Kittle to a ruptured Achilles. Ricky Pearsall could be back for this. Will he be 100%? The defense did the job despite getting no pass rush again. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit. Held the Eagles to 4.3 yards per play. Held them to 5 of 16 on third down, 3 of 5 on fourth. Held them 2 of 3 in the red zone. I guess that's not holding them. The secondary held the Eagles to 4.6 yards per pass. They've handled the loss of Bosa and Warner and Michael Williams and Tatum Bethune, and they keep fighting. Talk about these Seahawks. Passing offense ranked 9th. Rushing offense 2nd. Red zone offense 22nd. They've had a problem getting touchdowns down there. Just 54.2% of the time. Third down offense 16th. They convert 39.8% of the time. Defense. They're nasty. Pass defense 3rd. Rush defense 2nd. Red zone defense 4th. And this is number 1 third down defense in the NFL. They allow conversions 32% of the time. Pass rush ranked 9th. Special teams ranked 7th. We have Londo moving on the 49ers plus 7.5. The number 1 seed, Seahawks, are going to be a very tough out. They roll in the playoffs with a 7-game winning streak. Their offense humming. Darnold as possibly, arguably, probably the most dangerous wide receiver in the league, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Their running game has been exploding late in the season. Exploding. Last 3 games, 171 yards, 163 yards, and 180 yards. That's their 3 highest totals of the season after that 198-yarder against Arizona in Week 10. Kenneth Walker, 1,027 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2nd 1,000-yard season in his 4-year career, 1,309 scrimmage yards. Zach Charbonnet, 730 yards, 12 touchdowns while catching 20 passes for 144 yards. Now, tight end Elijah Arroyo and safety Kobe Bryant are expected to practice this week. Arroyo's been out for a while. Bryant missed the Seahawks' last 2 games with a knee injury. Left tackle Charles Cross, he signed a 4-year contract extension. He's going to be back in the starting lineup. He missed the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. This is a very, very dangerous, very tough, rested Seattle Seahawks team going up against the San Francisco 49er team full of character and injuries. I want Warner to come back just for the story, man. And they need him badly. And he's absolutely magical.
I mean, he would be just what the doctor ordered, man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because, yeah. What do you think, Jimmy? Go ahead. I know you.
I think he plays. But but you shouldn't ask me. Look, I'm drinking on my 49ers cup. I mean, what? Fred Warner is one of my favorite players in the world. I think he plays because I fucking love sports. I romanticize situations, and when you romanticize situations, it costs you money. Take it away, Troy Torrence. Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington, hosting Niners Seahawks.
Well, honestly, he's one of the most vicious players, and if somebody's going to play under these conditions, it would be Fred Warner. And I was actually pretty surprised by what I had seen from them this week. I mean, I still believe that they pulled it out of their ass with Shanahan. I really do. The noise cancel score suggested 23-22 in favor of Philly, but it was a tale of 2 halves. I mean, We see the same thing from Philadelphia every single game, just productive pretty early in the game, maybe in the first half. It tapers off as the game progresses. The play calling gets way more cohesive and very, very limited. They lack motion. They lack play action. They have no crossing routes. It's all hitches, out routes, verticals, or arrows out of the backfield or from the tight end. It's the most simple offense you've ever seen. And that's just unbelievably a joke, in my opinion, because there was not one crossing route that I've seen. And when you have no pass rush, that's how you beat a defense that has no pass rush. You run players across the field because they're impossible to defend, whether you're playing man or zone coverage. If you could run a scheme where you're running players across the field, you'll be an unstoppable offense if you have a quarterback that can make the pass, of course. But I think they do. And that jet sweep reverse pass touchdown, outside of that, there was 2 drives where they just marched straight down the field, scored touchdowns, and that was all they needed. That was enough to beat the Eagles, which says a lot about I feel like it says more about the Eagles than it does about the 49ers, because it wasn't like this offense. They did put up they were great on first down. They had a 51% success rate. Their first down, I feel like I never see numbers that good on first down. And I was like, what happened here? How did they only muster up this amount of points? Why did they look like they were struggling for most of the game? And maybe it was my biasness, but I thought that the offense did look good, especially on those drives. They're able to put together drives that are sustained. And it honestly, when I seen that and I started looking at some of the numbers, I started leaning towards the over a little bit too in this spot, because I feel like the Seahawks offense kind of got shorted based on the performance that they put together in San Francisco just a few short weeks ago. The 49ers EPA per run against the Eagles. This is another thing that concerns me. It makes me like the over. Their EPA per run was 0.15 below their average. That's not good. They were significantly worse than their average, and I don't see why they would expect it to be more productive on the ground in this matchup. They only mustered up 3 yards per carry. Eagles has a tough run deep, but I think the Seahawks run defense might be a little bit better. The Eagles, they were actually 0.14 above their average, which makes sense because the 49ers defense was not that good defensively in any specific facet of the game other than, I guess, just will and heart and Salah. And, Brock Purdy's passer rating was 18 points below. And if you remember to last 2 weeks ago when I was hammering the Seahawks team, it was one of my favorite bets of the year. And then the Ravens were the other favorite bet of the year. So, 1-on-1. But Purdy, I hammered this home. And now we have 2 more data points where Purdy faced 2 high shell defenses. He's faced them in 3 games and really only against 3 teams this year. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Seahawks twice, and it was the Eagles team this past week. When he faces teams that play 2 high shell, and those are 3 of the teams that played at the highest rates, his passer rating goes from 111 down to 80. His yards per attempt from 8 to 7.4. Check this out. His touchdown to interception ratio, 6 touchdowns, 7 picks, outside not facing 2 high shells, 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. His PFF grade from 92, the best in the NFL, and not against non-2 high defenses, the best in the NFL, down to 67.5, almost the worst qualifying quarterback in the NFL. Completion rate. He gets under pressure 10% more. And his offensive points per game for this entire team drops from 35 to 16. That's with Purdy on the field, single high versus 2 high shell. And the resume, I just can't get over this 49ers resume, especially offensively and what they were able to do. And I was getting ready to load up on, 2 weeks ago when the Seahawks played the 49ers, I was loading up on this 49ers team total under in that game. And it was because you look at the defenses that they've played and they put up these monster performances against just where they could not be stopped no matter what. It was against the teams, the Bears, right? I made the point that Malik Willis had a perfect passer rating against the Bears. Teams march up and down the field on the Bears until they don't. The Colts without 2 Pro Bowl corners. The Titans, the Browns scored 30 on the Titans, right? And then these 2 high shell defenses, I see them struggling. I think it makes a ton of sense why that would be the case. And the last time these 2 teams met, this is pretty insane. Seahawks won that game 13-3. The noise canceled was 23-6. The Seahawks had 7 drives in scoring range. They only scored 13 points. The 49ers only 2 drives in scoring range. Seahawks 42% success rate, 49ers 33. The EPA per play, the 49ers posted a 0.41 EPA per play. that's not good. Really not good. Like, we should expect them to be better in this spot now that he's seen 2 high shells 2 weeks in a row, and he's going up against the Seahawks team that he's seen now. This will be the 3rd time. So I do believe that Purdy will be better in this matchup. And especially coming into that Seahawks game, he was coming off all of those games where he was destroying terrible defenses, not like-kind defenses. Now he's had 2 games with like-kind defenses. And this is kind of coming off as I'm capping this, and I hear your cap, Jimmy, but I'm starting to lean towards the over in this matchup. I do have the Seahawks. I bet the Seahawks -7, -114. I have the Seahawks -1, Bills +7.5 or -125 at BOL. That's a great price. Great
Can
price.
you give me that one again?
Yeah, Seahawks -1, Bills +7.5, -125. Usually you'll find that's a 6.5 point tease. Usually you'll find that at like -130, -135. So the -125, I felt very comfortable with it. And then I like the market, right? Because the first matchup, I mean, 49ers open as 1.5 point favorites. They close as 3-point dogs. I feel like the statistical profile of that game and these teams put me around this. This is a fair price for this game. And I think it does show strength towards the Seahawks. But I'm thinking about adding the over in the spot. I think it makes sense.
I think it makes sense based upon the first 2 games and what everybody saw and all of that. But I didn't see route for the 49ers to beat the Eagles. And they did it through coaching. Better coaching. And here, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm hesitant to. I mean, yeah, I think it's too many points initially. The 6.5 through the 7.5 is a big deal. I think it's probably going to come back and close at 6.5. I think that it's still very. These are my 2 teams that I'm closest to, growing up Pacific Northwest and my family being from San Francisco. I find it. I'm jealous of cappers who have models and don't really need to watch the games and don't really care that much about the teams. The 49ers have shown more character than any team this year in the league, to me, by a landslide. The injuries that they've handled, whether it was Mac Jones at quarterback or Purdy at quarterback and this carousel at wide receiver, or an inside linebacker. This pass rush is terrible. And yet here they are. And there's only 8 teams left. And the winner goes to the conference finals. The Seattle Seahawks, to me, are the best team in the NFL. I think the Rams can beat them.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you got a massive quarterback advantage, you're susceptible.
Yeah, I think the Seattle Seahawks can be beaten. I also think that they're the best team, encompassing everything left in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all of this being said, I don't know what to do. IAM says Rams are the best, not the Seahawks, in his opinion. Oh, I certainly felt that up until week 13, and we'll go over all that with the Rams. I'm very comfortable with my Rams futures. I want to get a better idea about Fred Warner. I want to sit back with this total. I'm hesitant to go up against any of these moves towards the under, but I really kind of like this look on the over, and then not just because it's contrarian, it's because we've watched these defenses look very strong, and now your 3rd time seeing that defense, you have to have figured out ways to succeed against them. I don't think it's a spot where, they're impenetrable. They're an impenetrable force.
And it's back-to-back weeks. Or not back-to-back weeks, but you know what I mean, within a 3-week span.
Yeah.
Go look at it. I know the Bears Packers was the one the situation late in the season because they played week 16 and they played week 18, I believe. Week 16, week 18. And they didn't go over in the second matchup, but the look at the noise cancel score, went flying over. There was no success in the red zone. It just was a game that fell apart. The numbers did not represent what happened on the field.
Oh, I agree.
That was the only one. All the other divisional games, and this is another divisional game. Look at this. It's another divisional game where they had a late season matchup and a later season matchup within 3-4. I think I'd used 4 weeks. All of those games went over.
Well, look at the Bears-Packers.
Bears-Packers, Ravens-Steelers. There's more, man. There's more. I got this. I'll talk about this later at the end of the show.
And LALV says both games went way under in the regular season. And that makes me like, that's the reason. That's the first reason why I start, moving towards wanting the over. It's because everybody saw that. Everybody's sitting back going, this is too easy. Well, this line would be very different. Remember, this is the division that I spent my life focusing on. And these totals would open up at 45 and close at 41 and 40. And I would hammer unders nonstop. This is a very high total for a playoff game against division rivals. I think that they're opening up their arms to anybody who wants to bet unders. We have Mel in the house. Wonderful to see you. LALV says second meeting Seahawks 13-3. Exactly, LALV. That's what makes me gravitate towards overs because everybody saw that and banked off that. And now we have the meeting in the beginning of the year and at the end of the year where both went way under.
Yeah, that was week 1, week 18. Couldn't be more split there.
Wow. Thank God for but we have a lot of guys on the under. Kripke, Jimmy Steve, LALV. I get it. Not do, LALV, not do. Shout out to Sasha joining us. It's not about do. It's about I believe in the 49ers offense. And the reason why these games go under, look at what happens when the Rams play the Seahawks. The Rams force the issue. They force Seattle to risk. What happens when Darnold risks? He throws interceptions and he gets in trouble. When he doesn't have to push it, if the Niners don't put up any points, the Seahawks don't need to put up any points. They'll lull you to sleep. But it will be a lot of fun. This one will be a lot of fun. AM has this model to 49.5. We have Troy moving on the Seahawks -7, Seahawks -1, and the Bills +7.5 teaser. I've still yet to move on this football game. Let's roll on to Sunday action. Sunday, January 18th, AFC Divisional Playoffs. So, look, the Texans are playing the Patriots. We just watched the Patriots in an extremely low-scoring game. We just watched the Texans allow 6 points against the Steelers. And this is the one where I felt public schmuck betting the unders. And I was not going to do it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I sat there for too long and I was like, look, I have to do it. It's not like this total opened up at 45 or 46. This total opened up very low. Still, I feel very uncomfortable betting them, but I had to bet them. And I had to tell myself, look, this 20 juice to the under first half is telling us that they don't believe a lot of points are going to be scored. So I moved on the first half under and the full game under here for Texans Patriots. I got the first half under 20. I got the full game under 41. I could have paid for the 41.5. It wasn't that expensive. It was -118. I could have paid for the 42. It wasn't that expensive. It was -122. But I didn't want to, didn't feel like I needed to. I need this total to move somewhat to the under because it's not doing that. And that makes me think, I'm just setting myself up for failure. This is sitting right now at 40.5 -115 to the over. It opened up 41 -113 to the under. Not much difference between those two numbers. From a point spread standpoint, we've seen this line move to a very juiced 3, and in some cases a 3.5 with almost no vig. I'm looking at a -3.5 at -102. In saying that, when this moved from 2.5 to 3, the 3 was a -108. Then it moved to 3 to -120. Then it moved to 3.5 at +100. Now it's 3.5 at -102. So we've yet to see any buyback on the Texans. It's just been one-way traffic. When we get to the cash flow, everybody is on the under. 63. Well, I like 63% of the tickets. That's not overwhelming. But 89% of the cash is on the under. There's not there's 1 40.5 or 2 40.5 at Hard Rock and ESPN Bet and DraftKings. Okay. Here at Hard Rock, they opened up at 41.5. Now it's 40.5. Not that we go to Hard Rock for sharp lines or anything like that.
They are kind of sharp book, though.
I do think that they're sharper than others. Yeah. So we have a few books at 40.5. Let's roll. It's 35 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 6 mile per hour winds. Very calm, very simple weather here. It's not moving much at all, Am. It's not moving at all. I mean, there's no real difference between the 40.5 -115 to the over and a 41 -113 to the under. It's the same thing. Londo on the Texans money line and the under. Harold Williams, Texans +3. Sasha leaning towards the Texans. Sancho on the Texans +155. In this market, I can't bet the Texans. Now, maybe we can cap my way there, but this is not an appealing market to me on the Houston Texans. Dan's rant says his issue with the Texans is feel their stock is way too high. He doesn't know if they're even really good. Says Pittsburgh is that ungodly bad. And he's still pissed that his season got ruined from the Ravens not killing Pittsburgh. Yes, I know, Dan. We were feeling it right with you in that one. Let's roll here. Texans passing offense ranked 17th, rushing offense ranked 14th, red zone offense ranked 29th. They allow touchdowns 47.4% of the time. They score touchdowns 47.4% of the time. It's like, oh no, that's not their defense. Their offense has not been very good. It's been a little better of late. And we'll get into that. Third down offense ranked 18th. They convert 39% of the time. Pass defense ranked 4th. Rush defense ranked 7th. Red zone defense, very strong. They allow touchdowns just 54.4% of the time. Third down defense, also very strong, ranked 5th. They allow conversions 34.9% of the time. Pass rush ranked 2nd. Special teams ranked 15th. The Texans have reached the divisional round 6 times as a franchise since entering the NFL in 2002, and they're 0-6 in those games. They are on a short week after winning their 10th straight game. Very impressive 30-6 victory at the Steelers in the wildcard round. They did so this 10-game winning streak. They won 10 straight games despite playing very good opponents. We've not, you can't really say that about New England, but you can say that about Houston. They beat the Jags. They beat the Bills. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Steelers. They beat the Colts and the Chiefs when they were still alive in the postseason. During the winning streak, the Texans have defeated their opponents of an average score of 26.6 to 18. They're posting 0.008 EPA per play on offense and minus 0.142 on defense. That's, quite a bit higher than their season-long output. The Texans outgained the Steelers 408 to 175. The noise canceled score was 18-7 Texans. CJ Stroud was 21 of 32 for 250 yards, touchdown, and a pick. But he fumbled 5 times. He was very fortunate to only lose 2 of them. He had a season-high turnover-worthy throw rate, 11.4%. In his 14 regular season starts, Stroud completed 64.5% of passes, 3,041 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He scored a rushing touchdown, sacked 23 times, fumbled the ball twice, but didn't give it away. That's why it was so strange watching him butterfingers. He ranked 9th in EPA per play, 21st in completion percentage above expectation. He is 3-0 with 5 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions in the wild card round in his career. In the divisional round, he's 0-2 with 0 touchdown passes. Christian Kirk caught 8 passes for 144 yards and a touchdown. Wide receivers Nico Collins and Justin Watson both went into concussion protocol in the second half. If Collins is not cleared in time, which is a very legitimate possibility, Christian Kirk's going to have to step up again. Jaden Higgins is going to have to step up. Xavier Hutchinson needs to step up. And tight end Dalton Schultz we can expect Will step up, 789 yards, 3 touchdowns, 85 catches. Woody Marks ran 19 times for 112 yards and a touchdown. Houston ran for 163 yards and 5.3 yards per carry versus the Steelers. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Remember, this rush defense of the Patriots ranked 18th. We are going to see the Texans pound the rock, and we're going to see the Patriots pound the rock. There's going to be a ton of running in this football game, which helped me let go of any concern that everybody's on the under and just bet the under. The Texans averaged the second fewest rushing yards per game this season among the 14 playoff teams. The Patriots allowed only 30 rushing yards to running backs against the Chargers. So there's going to be a lot of running. We're not clear how successful that running will be. They went 10 of 15 on third down and 2 of 3 in the red zone. The defense completely shut down the Steelers. They held the Steelers to 3.1 yards per play, held them to 2 of 14 on third down, 0 of 2 in the red zone. Pass rush had 4 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. This defense is incredible. You have a first-team All-Pro, Willie Anderson Jr., second-team All-Pro, Danielle Hunter. Combined 187 quarterback pressures so far this year. That's more than 10 per game. Hunter's up to 16 sacks on the season. Anderson, 12.5. Both have also forced 4 fumbles. Both forced a fumble on Monday. You have tackle Sheldon Rankins. You have linebackers Azeez Al-Shire and Henry Toto. Secondaries led by first-team All-Pro Derek Stingley. Guy's an absolute monster. Second on the Texans with 4 interceptions. Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie. You have Kalen Bullock. Kalen Bullock has 5 interceptions. We watched him return 1 to the house just this past weekend. The Texans haven't allowed more than 16 points in 5 straight road games. Everything was taking me to the under. And I knew it would take everybody to the under. And that's why I needed to see this thing move, and it's not moved. And I waited for it to move. I said, show me a sign. No sign was shown. Let's talk about the New England Patriots. Spenny Penny Bombs and Nasty Nate's New England Patriots. Passing offense ranked 3rd, rushing offense 16th. Red zone offense 21st. They score touchdowns 54.6% of the time. Third down offense 7th. They convert 42.6% of the time. Second ranked pass defense, Christian Gonzalez in concussion protocol. Is it possible that Nico Collins and Christian Gonzalez don't play here? Yes. Yes, it's very possible. Rush defense 18th. Red zone defense, they allow touchdowns 64.3% of the time. It's weak. Third down defense strong, 10th. They allow conversion 37.1% of the time. Pass rush 17th. Special teams 22nd. Special teams being a problem. Patriots coming off a dominant 16-3 victory at home over the Chargers AFC wildcard round. It was their first playoff win since they won the Super Bowl in 2018. Noise cancel score is 19-12 Patriots. Drake May put together an incredible year. Led the league in completion percentage, yards per attempt, EPA per dropback, QBR and passer rating. Drake May in this last game, though, wasn't very good. 17 to 29 for 268 yards, touchdown, interception. He ran 10 times for 66 yards and lost a fumble. His 86.6 passer rating against the Chargers was his 3rd worst of the year. Rhonda Stevenson ran 10 times for 53 yards, led receivers with 3 catches for 75. Keyshawn Boutte caught 4 for 66. Hunter Henry caught 3 for 64 and a touchdown. Shout out to Spenny Penny Bombs, who's all over those Hunter Henry props. The offense averaged 6 yards per play, but struggled on third down, 4 of 11, and went 0 of 3 in the red zone. But they got 146 rushing yards and 5 yards per attempt against LA. The Patriots were the 2nd highest scoring team in the regular season, 28.8 points per game. This defense completely dominated the Chargers. Held the Chargers 3.5 yards per play, held them to 1 of 10 on third down, 1 of 3 in the red zone. Troy Torrence said that he expected Will Campbell to struggle. Well, he did. Will Campbell struggled. Jared Wilson struggled. When May was strip sacked and lost the ball, it was Campbell who got beat, taken to the cleaners.
Both times, I believe, right? Both strip sacks were from Will Campbell's matchup.
I have him on for one for
sure.
Sure.
I think you're right because the other one was a fake. He faked like he was going to basically pick the tackle, and then he found a lane.
But you were right.
He was supposed to pick the tackle.
You were right about him struggling in this one. The Chargers had one of the league's worst offensive lines. We knew that. So what happened? Patriots had 6 sacks, 16 quarterback pressures, 11 quarterback hits. Part of our breakdown on being on the Chargers predicated that we didn't think, even with how bad the Chargers offensive line was the Patriots would be able to do that much damage. Now, Houston's O-line's not that good. 22nd ranked pass block grade. Ranked 30th in pass block win rate. And this Patriots team has been shutting down a lot of teams. They held 6 of their last 8 opponents to under 20 points. Yes, it's easy. Maybe it's too easy. And those things that are too easy make me extremely uncomfortable. But yes, I moved on the first half under and the full game under. And I think the market is telling us that the Patriots take care of business here. And that the same storylines about CJ Stroud will be talked about next year. What happens when the competition gets a little too tough? He wilts. But I have not moved on the Patriots yet. Let's hear from Troy Torrence. Troy Torrence, take it away. 3 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, January 18th, AFC Divisional Playoffs, Foxborough, Patriots hosting the Texans.
Well, I haven't talked about it on this show much, but I have talked about it on my Discord quite a bit about how I believe the Texans are the best team in the AFC. And I believe we're destined for a Texans-Bills to win the AFC. I really do. And it's because a lot of what I talked about with this Patriots team all season long. So they win handily, right? The noise cancel was 19-12. They won 16-3. Both teams had 44% success rate. The Patriots were, minus 0.02 EPA per play. The Chargers were much worse. And I got the side wrong. I was completely wrong. But I did load up on the under, and I was handsomely rewarded for that. The Patriots have the 32nd grade strength of schedule. At some point, this is going to come back to bite them, especially in this matchup, and I'll get to that. They only played 2 playoff teams all season. Now 3. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Bills. They split with the Bills, and they lost to the Steelers. And I just I talked about it last week, right? Look at who they played in their division and throughout the course of the season. The Dolphins with Ewers, Jets with Cook, Ravens with Huntley, Giants with Dart. You can just go down. They played nothing but young or rookie quarterbacks and phenomenal spots as massive favorites. And the Chargers, up until this point, were the best defense that Drake May's seen all season. And he posted his worst numbers of the season, as did the entire offense. And now he's going from playing a really good defense, that's a really quality defense he just seen, to a historically great defense. Drake May was only under pressure on 35% of his dropbacks against the Chargers. His season average is 38%. So they actually, as a cohesive unit, were not too bad. But what is that going to look like when he's against the Houston pass rush, who is significantly better than Los Angeles? Significantly better. And we've seen 2 strip sacks, and he threw an interception from Drake May. We don't see that very often from Drake May. I think we could expect something similar in this matchup. I don't see why we wouldn't. The Patriots, especially because they don't have to blitz, they could rush 4 and create the same amount of pressure other teams can only dream about, and they would be forced to blitz to be able to do so. And another thing about this matchup is Drake May had even though he struggled from the pocket, he struggled passing the football, what he did with his mobility is what's going to make him great in the long run. I mean, his ability to escape the pocket, to extend drives. He had 10 carries for 66 yards. That's pretty damn impressive. And the Texans, they have faced a ton of mobile quarterbacks. The results really didn't change in those games. I know that some quarterbacks had success. Like I think back to Baker Mayfield in week 2 and his magical run to extend the last drive of the game. But the Bills, they played Josh Allen and the Bills. They held them to 4.2 yards per play. The Jags with Trevor Lawrence, they held him to 3.9 yards per play. The Broncos, Bo Nix, 4.4 yards per play. It's not like these quarterbacks were really, these truly mobile quarterbacks were really having a massive impact in those outcomes, especially against this Texans defense. I think there's a lot to be said about them. I've been talking about them, as being the best defense in the NFL for quite some bit. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, though, to be honest. And then what the Texans did against the Steelers, I know, CJ Stroud looked terrible for stretches of that game, and he couldn't handle the football, and he fumbled the ball 4 times. And I know that he threw that pick in the red zone, and he struggled largely. But they were really dominant in every facet of the game, even in spite of that. In spite of all those mishaps, they were still dominant. You look at what they did against their averages in EPA per pass, per rush, and what they did to Pittsburgh. They held Pittsburgh to 0.66, almost a full point below their average EPA per play. That's impressive defense. They put up 408 yards. They went 10 for 15 on 3rd down. I was super impressed, and it was a lot to do with what I talked about last week and how their run game, it was night and day when Woody Marks took over the backfield. and how successful they've been. I mean, if you rewind prior to week 10, the run blocking grade per PFF was like 28th, 29th. Now they're up to 20th. And that's just in the past 7-8 weeks. So they are climbing the charts. And I think that the Patriots, I do feel like they have a lot of similarities with the Steelers, and not only the results of their defense, but if you actually look at the structure of their defense, they like to play single high. They love to mix in man coverage. They both grade out as like slightly above average defenses. I feel like we're going to see the Texans offense continue to rise. There was something really wrong with Justin Herbert in that game. I look at what the Patriots defense did. I've watched them throughout the season. I don't think what we've seen from that defense is what we're going to see moving forward in the playoffs. I don't want to. It's hard to go against this coaching staff with McDaniels and Vrabel, but I just feel like I have to go back to the well. I feel like the Texans' offensive line are going to be able to generate push. They have more than enough weapons, I feel like, at wide receiver with the rise of Kirk. You got Jaden Higgins. You got a good tight end to pass the ball to. If they can get the running game going, they have Noel. They have guys that can still stretch the field vertically. But there's other. I mean, I just have to be on the Texans in this spot, and I want to be on them early. So I bet first time I bet a first quarter all season long. I got Texans first quarter plus a half, and I paid a juice to do it. Plus a half in the first quarter on the Texans minus 135. I got Texans first half. I bought up to a 3 minus 130, and I got the Texans full game plus 3. So I'm on it 3 ways. I tripled up on this spot too. I got to stick to my guns here. Stick to my handicap that this Patriots team, we got a sniff of it, a taste of it in the first round of the playoffs. The Chargers defense was inept, and they have been inept towards the end of the season. They weren't scoring any points. The Texans are not the same. I know we see the lapses that CJ Stroud has had and what he did this past game. I get it. I get why you could fade this team comfortably, but I'm on the other side. I look at the 2.5 open as a short line. I know it's up to 3.5 now, which is a very strong move. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I absolutely love this market, but I have seen this market when it's moved through 3. It's starting to get a little bit egregious. I haven't checked it recently. Where's it at?
Texans first quarter plus a half minus 135. Texans first half. What did you get that at?
Texans first half plus 3 plus 130.
Plus 3.
And Texans full game. Another bad number, plus 3 minus 115.
So that was plus 3 minus 130. And then full game plus
3 minus 115.
Yeah, I don't know if Stroud can handle this. Will you be concerned if Nico Collins is not in, or look, if Nico Collins and Christian Gonzalez are both out, do you feel like that benefits you?
That washes.
I think
Christian Gonzalez is more likely than Nico Collins. I mean, I've seen that injury. I feel like Nico Collins is not playing. I think that the line movement reflects that as well. So I don't know about Gonzalez. I think he plays, but
I mean, this Texans team at this point is, they're playing
because the Patriots' offense is their strong suit, and we've seen that go to shit when they played the best defense that they've seen all season. It's really the Patriots' defense is what I really want to target here. I do feel like the Texans can realize success.
I think statistically, the profile has the offense around the exact same as the defense. I mean, you have a 3rd-ranked passing offense. You have a 2nd-ranked pass defense. You have a 16th-ranked rushing offense. You have an 18th-ranked rush defense. You have a weak red zone offense, 21st. You have a weak red zone defense. You have a decent, you have a good enough 3rd-down offense, 7th, 10th-ranked 3rd-down defense. Like I think they're a balanced football team. I don't think they're offense. I mean, we watched for how many weeks was this the 32nd ranked rushing attack according to Pro Football Focus?
Well, I think that grade is different. I think that reflects the running backs. I feel like that reflects the running backs' individual grades, not necessarily the rushing offense.
the individual grades of the running backs were the worst in the NFL through 10 weeks.
Yeah, I think they could run the ball.
Well, they proved that. Their rushing offense ended up 16th.
Yeah.
They turned that around. So here, you talk about the strength of the 3 and the power of the 3.
But it didn't open 3. Because I remember a lot of my profiles are open, close, 3.5.
And you feel that you in here, and you've proven this before, you have the conviction to go up against that with these Houston Texans.
I do. I proved it, but I mean, it's not. I'm moderately successful with it this year. It's not like I've hit these spots at a ridiculous rate because I know I've lost a few as well.
Do you think that
this is also unprecedented line movement in the playoffs?
Do you think this total not moving is a real cause for concern for underbettors?
No, because I don't. I think the Patriots, to find success, they're going to have to throw the football, and that's going to stop the clock. But I do think the under correlates extremely well with the Texans, because if the Texans are going to find success, it's probably going to be on the ground.
I'm on first half unders, full game unders, 20 and 41.
I like the unders. I do, Jimmy. I mean, I'm leaning under as well.
I would just like some sort of sign. We're just not getting it. And this feeling we all have when you keep going back to the books, you keep going back, you keep looking, show me a sign, and there's not a sign. It's a sickening feeling. I got the first half under 20 at -109. I got the full game under 41 at -110 at 365. And I told you guys, I could have got the 41.5 if I wanted it. That was -118. I could have got the 42 flat at -122. Right now, these have not moved a cent.
Here, I got something for you on the market too that I forgot to mention. So when you look at the opening line, you look at -2.5, 3. This line opened between 2.5 and 3, pretty much. And now we're up to 3. We're up to 3.5, pretty much, right? We have never seen a line open at 2.5 and 3 and move towards the home team. We've never seen it. It has happened one time, and that was this past week with the Eagles and the 49ers, and the 49ers got the outright win. But when teams open 2.5 and 3 in the playoffs, they're only 1-5 ATS. Only 1-5. And again, it's a tight. I mean, 5 of the games landed on between the 3s. So we're due for a close game, a very closely contested game, which also makes me like the Texans a little bit more because they have a great field goal kicker. Until they need to go over the total, then he becomes a bum.
I cannot wait to watch this football game. Like, this is every element, they're all going to be great games, but for whatever reason, this one, this Texans defense, it's just worth the price of admission. I feel like I have a little bit, because of the futures on the Bills, it would help me a lot if the Bills could roll. I've got too much on the line in Niners, Seahawks, just as, growing up a Niners fan, and then Fred Warner possibly putting on a cape. Like, there's all this going on, but here it's just
he's back, man. I'm really nervous about my action if he's back. I don't want to see that. That put the fear of God into me, my action on the Seahawks.
God, everybody's like, everybody's watching Warner everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes, people are just watching him. Like, everyone whispering around, like whether it's extremely important here. Let's roll on to our final spot here on the board. Shout out to Zoe Cold joining us. AM says now that he has power, this projection is Patriots -1.5. Dougie Wise says Warner's aura will lift the team. It will, but it'll be more than just his aura. He's a bad man. Let's roll on to our final spot on the board here. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, NFC Divisional Playoffs. Los Angeles Rams, 12-5, 5-4 on the road. Chicago Bears, 11-6, 6-2 at home at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Well, this weather is changing by the minute. Been watching it, following it very closely. Yesterday, 24 hours ago, it's always going to be around 19 Fahrenheit and 20 Fahrenheit. It said that there was going to be 5 mile per hour winds. Nothing. Now that's changed. 12 mile per hour winds could get up to 14 or 15 during the game. And now it says it won't be snowing at kickoff. It'll start snowing around halftime. It'll be snowing earlier in the day, and then it will stop. Now, again, look, that's 4 days away. We shall see. You did tell me, AM. I was telling everybody, I was like, what wind? There was no wind. Now it's up to 12. I'll be checking it out nonstop. Let's talk about this line history here for this one. The LA Rams are minus 3.5 and minus 150. This book that I'm looking at, where we used to play our poker games, never moved it to 4, didn't open it at 4, never had it at 4. We have a lot of other books that we saw at 4.5. For whatever reason, this book's just stayed at 3.5. Opened up minus 110. The plus 3.5 opened and closed. All these other books are the ones that had that 4.5. I'm looking at a very sharp book right now, hanging a 4 as we speak. They also didn't open it at 4.5. We know Bet365 opened it at 4.5. Over here at this book, this opened up at 3.5. And now the Bears are plus 4. So it's moved a half point towards the Rams. It all depends on what book you're using your opener from, because we know it opened up 4.5 at 365, and a lot of people bet it there. Now it's 3.5 there. Totals of 48.5. This total is dropping. Even today, there was a 6 cent move, 6 cents of movement towards the under. In fact, at 7 a.m., you could have still got the under 49. Now it's under 48.5 at minus 116 from a 51 opener. It's dropping and dropping. The initial move was to the over at some books. Even here at this book, there was a 2 cent move to the over initially, which has gone away. Let's get into the cash flow for this one. 53% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on the LA Rams. Superbook hanging a 4, Caesars hanging a 4, Hard Rock, ESPN, Bet, Fanatics hanging 4s. All the rest of the books are hanging 3.5s. And the 3.5 over at Circus flat, minus 110 each way. 57% of tickets on the over, 71% of cash on the over. AM says, don't go chasing this under. If you miss the 51.5, you miss the value. Saturated says, what are your thoughts on fairy tales? Now, we know in Shawshank that there are none. When you have an 8-year-old daughter, there are fairy tales. I think that the Chicago Bears season will come to an end here. But the Rams have shown us no reason why we should truly believe that over the last 5 weeks or so. Let's get into it. Rams passing offense ranked 1st, rushing offense ranked 5th, red zone offense 7th, third down offense 20th. Their pass defense is ranked 1st. Their rush defense is ranked 2nd. Their red zone defense ranked 4th. They only allow touchdowns 50% of the time. Third down defense ranked 8th. They allow conversions just 36.6% of the time. Pass rush ranked 3rd. Now, when we've been talking about this defense, Dougie Wise has been saying for weeks now that this defense is not good. I don't know if he used trash or he just says, they don't believe those numbers. And look, he's been right
every week.
He's been right for 5 weeks in a row. This defense is getting pummeled. So let's roll. And also, this special teams is a problem. We saw the special teams coach get fired 2 weeks ago. Problem after problem. Every game is a problem with special teams. That block punt almost, cost them the season. Rams coming off yet another underwhelming performance, barely getting past the Panthers 34-31 Carolina. Noise canceled score was 30-29 Carolina. LA got out to a 14-0 lead. Then the Rams got outscored 31-13 through the next 2+ quarters. If you were watching the game with the volume on, it was all Stafford's right index finger sprained. Look at what he's done afterwards, all that stuff. He's not on the injury report. He says he's fine. 24-42 for 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He, over the last 5 weeks, has not been the problem. The offense has not been the problem. It's the defense that has. This is a offense, or Stafford. Let's start with Stafford. Stafford 4th in EPA per play, 5th in success rate over the last 5 weeks. That's among playoff qualified quarterbacks. Sorry, that's among qualified quarterbacks, not just playoffs. Sorry, that's across everybody. And we hear ADOT constantly talked about by Troy, by Salty Pete. Look at the downfield average yards over the last 5 weeks. 11.1 per attempt. That's incredible. Puka Nacua caught 10 for 111 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Williams ran 13 times for 57 yards. Blake Corum ran 11 times for 45 yards. The offense put up 411 yards, 5.7 yards per play. It did struggle after Stafford sprained his finger. The Rams overall were just 3 of 13 on third down, 4 or 5 in the red zone. The defense has been struggling. There was a 16-game stretch that was over last year and this year where the Rams held 8 opponents to 10 points or less. They've allowed at least 27 points to every opponent other than the Cardinals since Thanksgiving. At least 27 points to every opponent other than the Cardinals since Thanksgiving. Panthers put up 333 yards, 5.2 yards per play. Allowed the Panthers to go 4 for 4 in the red zone. Pass rush had 2 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. Kobe Durant had an interception. Now, let's talk about what is going to change. We have to start with offense. Kevin Dotson is going to be back. We talked about him last week. 3rd highest ranked guard in the NFL. He's going to be back. Terrence Ferguson, tight end, rookie, is going to be back. Cornerback Josh Wallace, be back. Now, Ahkello Witherspoon, done for the year with the shoulder injury. It was sustained the regular season, so he hasn't been around. Now, in the last 7 LA Rams postseason games, the underdog has covered every single one of them. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Passing offense ranked 13th. Rushing offense ranked 4th. Red zone offense ranked 18th. They score touchdowns 56.7% of the time. Third down offense 5th. They convert 43.5% of the time. Offense is very good. Defense is not. Pass defense ranked 21st. Rush defense ranked 19th. Now, they dealt with a lot of injuries this year, and that continues to happen. Red zone defense ranked 19th. They allow touchdowns 58.3% of the time. Third down defense ranked 20th. They allow conversions 40.8% of the time. It's 26th ranked pass rush. Special teams ranked 12th. The Bears have an extra day of rest and prep and don't have to travel. That's huge.
They don't have an extra day of rest.
I thought they played the day before.
No, they both played on Saturday.
Oh, man. Why did I write that way? Let me go back there. Oh, you're right, because the Rams played the early game. Shit, yeah. That's my fault. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. But no travel. But thank you for that. That's helpful. Noise canceled score. They won 31-27. Noise canceled score was 32-26 Bears. Chicago was down 21-3 at the half, 21-6 through 3 quarters. Only to outscore Green Bay 25-6 in the 4th quarter, getting their first playoff win in 15 years, right in front of Troy Torrence. Bears beating the Packers 3 times over the last 5 weeks. Kelly Williams was incredible in the second half. 24-48, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Colston Loveland was an absolute monster. 8 receptions for 137 yards. This dangerous Bears ground game was nullified, mostly because the Bears were playing catch-up. Swift and Monangai combined for 21 carries for 81 yards. The Bears put up 445 total yards, 5.8 yards per play. They went 10 of 19 on third down, 2 of 5 in the red zone. The defense got gashed in the first half before coming together in the second half. Packers put up 421 yards, 6 yards per play. They held the Packers to 6 of 15 on third down, 3 of 3 in the red zone. Pass rush had 1 sack and 8 quarterback hits. TJ Edwards, broken left fibula, done for the year. Left tackle, Ozzie Trapilo, done for the year. Kyler Gordon was activated off injured reserve after being sidelined since week 13. He's very, very important. The Bears have now won 7 games after trailing with under 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter this season. But it's not just the Bears who dominate in the second half. The Rams have been very good in the second half of games. The Rams rank 2nd. The Bears rank 3rd in second half points per game. Troy Torrence, take it away. I believe that the Bears season is over. I have the 8-1 to win the conference and the 20-1 to win the Super Bowl. I cashed the over 9.5 wins. I lost the NFC West. The over 9.5 wins, was juiced. So at this point, I'm down a little bit on my Rams futures. I've not moved on this football game. Take it away.
So, yeah, I can't get around this market. I can't even talk my way around this market. This is clearly a market which is strength in favor of the Rams. And I think the last market actually was at the same time. I guess that's the only data point I would say, like, oh, look at this. The market was favoring the Rams last week, being double-digit road favorites. And they didn't get the job done. But that's all I got. I don't like betting home dogs +3, +3.5. I can't even talk my way around it. But I do have a Bears +4 ticket. And I'm going to get to why here in a minute. Let me just kind of lay the foundation for my thoughts here. The Rams' late season slide continues in the playoffs, and I was backing them until the bitter end. I mean, a noise-canceled score, they win by 1 point against this Panthers team. The Rams had a 49% success rate. The Panthers had 46%. 5.7 yards per play to 5.2 yards per play. The Panthers were significantly better on third down. I mean, this numerically, that game was played about as close as it gets. Because the reason I say that is because the Rams didn't take advantage of the fumble early in the game, the muff punt. The Cardiac Bears, that title just is carrying with them, follows them into the playoffs. They win the game from the noise cancel score. Both teams, I mean, another game that was played is about as close as you could get. 5.8 yards per play, 6 yards per play. Both teams had a 43% success rate. The Bears were better on third down. The Packers lost 4 fumbles. The Bears could not pick up any of those, and I was pulling my damn hair out at the game. But we had 2 games that were just fought tooth and nail, and every game the Bears are basically fought down to the bitter end. And the Bears just continue to rise. Every time they are down late in the game, they make a comeback. And I mean, is it just going to magically disappear? At what point do we just look at what these two teams are and what they've been and say, this is what to expect on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? Can we throw the Bears fraud narrative away yet? I mean, I really was trying to do that around week 8, week 9. I was trying to say, we got to fade the Bears. I remember fading the Bears to my dismay. And then I started to realize what was happening. And there's a lot of moving pieces with this offense. But Caleb Williams, his development as a quarterback was clear as day this season. His ceiling as a quarterback was as clear as day. The offensive line was kicking ass, whether it be pass blocking or run blocking. And Ben Johnson, even though I have a lot of problems with how he called that last game, when it comes to the second half, specifically that fourth quarter, Ben Johnson puts together fantastic schemes, playing off all the formations and play calls he made earlier in that game, or in every game. And I look at the defense. I don't think they can stop a nosebleed. It's really hard to make a case for this Bears defense. But I'm calling the Bears wait, before I go to the Bears defense. So the Bears, can we consider, are they still frauds? Or can we say that what they're doing in the fourth quarter and the second half is real? How about the Rams? Because they've been terrible as of late. You touched on it, Jim. I mean, look at the difference between the last 6 games and the first 12 games. There's a massive discrepancy in what their defense is doing. They're consistently, week in and week out, allowing over a league average success rate. They allowed an average of 27 points since basically the beginning of December. 27 points per game since the beginning of December. And in that same time frame, in that exact same 6-week window, Matthew Stafford threw 7 interceptions. Through the first 12 weeks, he only threw 2. I mean, there's clearly a regression for this team happening with the Rams. And it's hard to explain. The defense they're getting passed on pretty, it looks pretty easy. Some of these teams passing the ball, and I don't know what's going on. It's hard to explain. And now they're going on the road in the freezing cold. I don't want to even touch on Stafford's historical, his 1-8 straight up in his playoff or on the road in bad weather or under 40 degrees or whatever it is. But I don't know what to expect with this Rams team anymore. What's a team that I believed, and I moved on the futures, as did you, Jim. I followed your lead, and I still believe that they're going to win this game. But you're going to give me 3.5, 4 points with the Chicago Bears, with the back door is going to be open in perpetuity. We have a quarterback in freezing cold temperatures on the road against a team that's fully capable of turning quarterbacks over. It's really hard there's no way I'm probably going to be adding to this position, but I have a Bears +4 -110. I do have massive concerns about the Bears defense, but just like we see with the offense and how they explode in the second half in the fourth quarter, Dennis Allen, he continues to figure it out late in games to get stops. No TJ Edwards this week. Well, that's addition by subtraction because DeMarco Jackson has been the best graded player we've had on the Bears all season. The secondary is not consistent, but they have those awesome snaps where they are plastered. And I'm talking about Jalen Johnson and Nashawn Wright because Kyler Gordon played terribly this past week. And they kind of remind me of the Bills because they're getting exposed, and they string together 3 or 4 stops to completely flip the game on its head. So it's not like I'm extremely confident in the Bears, but I had to play them in the spot.
I thought that initially, but I was still kind of high off of what I'd seen, and I just wanted everything to kind of settle. What do you think of this total dropping? Dan's Rants asks you, he says, Troy, why not the over if you're on the Bears? They basically can't cover 4 without this game going over 48.5. Do you believe that?
I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Stafford. I don't know what to expect from Matthew Stafford this week. I don't. I mean, 7 picks in 6 games. I mean, clearly something's not right. Now he's going to be in an environment he hasn't been in all season. How many seasons has it been since he's been in this type of cold weather?
Last year, Eagles.
It's the Eagles, and he played in the snow. And was that a cold game?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that cold. Let's see. I don't think it was a cold game. He played good, though, in that game. I remember having the Eagles on a bunch of teasers and moneyline parlays. And
see, now, look, I'm from the north, and I play hockey outside. But to me, there's no difference between 30 Fahrenheit and 20 Fahrenheit. None. Now, other people could have different feelings about that.
What? 40 and 20 are, yeah. Oh my God. 40 short weather.
I said 30 and 20.
Oh, 30 and 20. I thought you said 40 and 20.
No. 30 and 20. To me, there's nothing. Your heart starts beating, your heart starts pounding. I don't feel a difference personally. But
you're from Canada, bro.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think 30 and 20 is just.
You don't got a house on Beverly, out there in Beverly Hills. You're not chilling out there in the beautiful weather on the beaches, California. We're in the slums, bro. We're hard nosed. This guy's been fucking pampered quarterback his whole life. And I love Stafford. I'm talking shit. Here I am. Listen, I love Stafford. I love this Rams team. I've been betting on them all season. I got futures on them. I just think the back door is going to be open. I can't make a case for the Bears to win this game. Trust me. I get it. And I totally get it. Because I'm talking out both sides of my mouth. I've been pretty consistent all year. I rarely take these spots. I've never taken a home dog that opened 3.5. Never. So this is a outlier for me.
Londo, I don't think this line is suspicious at all. The Rams were 5-4 on the road this year. 5-4. The Bears went 6-2 at home. In fact, I thought that 4.5 was a little more than I had expected. I expected 3.5. So 4.5 was more than I expected personally.
No, Johnny Guns, because I think there's ways we could talk around that. It is, I guess I would say 50% emotional, but I do have logic behind it. It's not like I'm just shooting a fucking lasso toss in the dark.
We have Troy on the Bears +4 at -110.
You're right, though. The Rams last year in the playoffs, it's going to very similar temperatures, but the winds were, 5 gusts up to 10 last year in Rams at Eagles. Snover.
Yeah, and I keep checking the Chicago weather over and over and over again. At this point here, this game, of course, is starting a little earlier than usual. If this game was starting later, if this game was starting at a regular time,
7:30,
this would be snow showers starting at kickoff. But there's 10% precipitation at this point. It keeps going down and down. Like there's not that much snow supposed, it's going to culminate over the early parts of the day. Do you know that there's never a point at this point? There's never a spot in this entire period from 2 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night where there's more than a 20% chance of precipitation. And look there's Nutflush Allen. We've been waiting to see his name in the chat. I don't know what you did. Finally, Nutflush Allen's back. Sometimes there's something that goes wrong with YouTube where we can't, where the comments aren't going through, and you're not blocked. It's just comments aren't going through. And there he is, Nutflush 16, back in business, man. So
yeah, the finger situation too. So I've sprained my finger hella times, and I think about gripping a football in the cold weather and how that might be a factor. But we're talking about a sprained finger. I doubt it has much of an impact on Stafford's abilities in a one-game stand. Now, if he re-injures it, or he re-sprains it, yeah.
But that's what they're saying. They're like, this is fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Which is nice to hear. And Satcher says, what would Ronnie Lott do? Well, he'd put his shoulder through your chest. That's what he would do.
He'd cut off his sprained finger and fucking mail it to the opposing quarterback.
Oh, big bad Ronnie Lott, man. That's a good call. We have Troy on the Bears +4. I agree that the under should not be bet now. There was ample opportunity to take the under at 51. I know that a lot of people are going to try to get over this number if it does dip to 47. I don't think it will. And I'm not, there's no reason for me to hedge. Like it's just a $500 bet on the 20-1 at +2,000, which is great, but there's no need for me to hedge anything now or do anything like that. So but the Bears +3.5 have interest me. I got the Bears +8.5 and +15.5 last week. So there's a lot of live opportunities here for us. That concludes our divisional round breakdowns. And man, I wish this was not coming to an end. That's what I wish. I wish it was not coming to an end. We have, let me get this here. There we go. Let's review all action of these 4 games, and we only have 3 games left in the NFL season to cap.
Unbelievable.
So let's go over action. In game 1, Troy's on the Bills first half -105. He's on the Bills full game -108. And he's on the Bills +1 at -110. I'm going to move on the Bills. Now. Just a regular unit bet. I think going to Jacksonville and beating them is tougher than going to Denver beating them. Now you could say, well, what if you have to go to Denver after Jacksonville and you only get 6 days and you travel 2 time zones? Well, then maybe you'd have a point. Then in game 2, Troy's on the Seahawks -7, and he's on the Seahawks -1, Bills +7.5 teaser. I was wondering, when I was thinking about that, why the Bears aren't included in the teaser.
Yeah, those 3.5s. I look at the teasers and some of like the dynamics, the configurations of the 3.5 market, and I don't even want to play around with that, especially in the playoffs. But these closer spreads, these spreads that open under 3, I mean, you just tease them and you'll be cashing pretty easily, pretty comfortably. At least that's what history says. And if you look at the some teams that let go, I don't know, I want to call it let go, but in the playoffs, you see more blowouts happen. I would say there's usually a wider margin of victory.
I feel you. In our Sunday action, we have Troy on Texans first quarter +0.5, Texans first half +3, and full game +3. I'm on the first half under 20 and the full game under 41. All those numbers are exactly where they were for me on the total. Then we have Troy on the Bears +4 at -110. And that is our show for today. Thank you guys. All year long, you have supported us. And through our highs and lows, you've had our back. And we thank you guys enormously. Dougie Wise, Jason Meyer, the El Dorado custodian. We do Rants, LALV, Crip Key, TJ, Ron Young, Nutflush, Allen, Curtis Berry, Rance, Sancho, Harold Williams, Sasha, Johnny Guns, AM, Saturated. Thank you guys. Vincent Hawkins. Thank you guys. Truly. Mr. Heat. Tell me you didn't just say that. Spenny Penny Bombs. Thank you guys so much. It means an absolute ton to have your guys' support throughout all of this. So thank you. Thank you to our producer, Jose Bouquet. Is always has our back, no matter when we have 4.5-hour shows. Jose, we love you. We thank you. Troy, as always, it's just fun watching you cook. You're just the real deal, man. You're just a real one. And we talk about that armor growing and growing and growing, and you will become an unstoppable force. And
as the armor grows, the smiles become emptier.
That's true. That's true. This is as TJ would say, this is the life we chose. This is life we chose. Troy, thank you for your wisdom, your angles. This is your sport. And you take us into the X's and O's, and you make us feel like we're right there. We were all very happy thinking of you and your dad having that experience against the Packers. And thank you for all that you do, man. Take us home. Final thoughts before we put a bow on this.
So something I want to do better next year moving forward is when I give my angles on the game, I always put it under the umbrella or within the context of my action. I feel like I'm going to do a lot better next year, being more unbiased, and just give both sides. It'll probably lead to longer caps. Sorry, Jose. But I do think that, someone pointed that out to me. He asked me about a side that I was on. He was like, what about this? And I started spitting out all the matchups and the coverages. And he was like, why didn't you say that on the show? So, I'll have to be better about that. But goddamn, Jimmy, it's a blessing to be here with you, having such a successful season, as I believe we would in any sport if we were able to attack a full season together, be it basketball, be it baseball, be it volleyball, which the lines are starting to drop on Kelshi right now. It's just a blessing to be here, be a part of this community. And I say it every week, and I truly fucking mean it. This is the best damn community on YouTube, in the industry, on X. And I just feel blessed to be a part of it, man. So let's go out there this week, divisional round, before we sweep the rest of the board, moving on in the playoffs. And let's say, Los Bookmakers.